With so many vocalists and singer-songwriters recording themselves from their own home studio, things can get overwhelming pretty quickly. You've got to wear a lot of hats, and it's no surprise that we're going to make a few mistakes. So today, I'm going to take a look at 5 key mistakes that it's so easy to make if you're recording your own voice in your home studio, and how to avoid them. Let's dive straight in. And first off, we're going to talk about spatial depth with your vocals. Now, I'm sure you're used to applying a little bit more reverb to your backing vocals than with your lead vocal. So the lead vocal stays up front and the reverb sends your backing vocals further to the back of the mix, giving some spatial depth and supporting that lead vocal. Now, in modern mixing and recording, it seems year on year, more and more stuff is getting shoved down your throat and to the front of the mix. But I like a mix for the listener, which has got some spatial depth. It's going to sound interesting and it's got some context. And that's why when recording your backing vocals, it's a great thing to think about this at the recording stage. After you've recorded your lead vocals, when you're ready to record your backing vocals, take a further step back from the microphone. This is going to create a sense of your backing vocals being further back in the mix, further away from your lead vocals. And indeed, if you're creating more of a larger chorus sound, then you can experiment with being in different positions on the microphone. You can even become different characters. You can assume different voices. That's going to really help to build up a realistic choral sound. But certainly when you're doing those backing vocals, step further back from the microphone. That's going to really help with that sense of depth within your mix. Mistake number 2 is believing that your mic choice, or the mic that you really want to get your hands on, is more important than the performance. I get it, mics are cool, mics are really good fun, there's so many mics to research, and yeah, microphones are just great. But it's important to remember that the performance is the most important thing, and getting yourself comfortable and equipped to give a great performance massively outweighs whatever microphone you're going to be using. And with that in mind, my top tip is to always keep your first take. There are so many sessions that I've been involved with where the first take is the one we actually always coming back to because it seems to convey the energy and passion of the song. Often I find myself in a session where we spend the next 2 or 3 hours trying to get back to that first take or polish it up, but we never quite get the energy or the message of the song across as well as that first take. So don't make the mistake of deleting it. Mistake number 3 is to try to do everything at once. What I'm talking about is the recording, the editing, and the mixing. Absolutely, you want to be doing that mixing on a separate day. Remember what I said at the top of the video, you're wearing all these different hats, you're producing the song, you've probably written the song, you've got to edit the song, and then you're recording yourself too. By the time you come to the mixing, you're going to be kind of sick of hearing your voice, but you're also going to lose all your perspective. So save the mix for another day and try to do the editing on a separate day too. Now, editing your work is really essential to getting a great job with the mix, because you don't want to be playing around with tuning or automating or timing when you're getting down to mixing. You want to save your ears for that crucial kind of first hour when you're working on the mix and you're working on those vocals. That's what you want to be concentrating on, not working out problems in the recording. So make sure you get your editing done thoroughly on a separate day. And do your recording, if you can, on a separate day too. Treat it as 3 different sessions. That way you can successfully wear those different hats each day and do your best to get those jobs done to the best of your ability. Mistake number 4, and if you're a singer and you're used to recording yourself, then you'll know this one all too well. It's a rookie error, but it can happen to all of us, especially if you're mixing your own voice. And this is making the mistake of mixing your own voice just that little bit too quiet. I don't know why we do it, but we do it. There's some innate shyness that we don't want to hear our vocal right to the front. The easiest way around this is to get your vocal where you think it should be and then bring it up 1 or 2 dB. You might find it a little bit awkward, but I guarantee you, particularly if you're new to mixing your own voice, that this is a brilliant hack to make sure that you don't end up burying your voice within the mix. And finally, mistake number 5, and this is one that's really close to my heart, and that's believing that you don't need singing lessons. Now, I felt this way for such a long time. Believe me, I learned the hard way about 7 or 8 years ago, I ended up with a hemorrhage polyp. So that was a bleed on my vocal cord, which ended up needing surgery because I'd just sung with not a great technique for a really long time. I'd certainly oversung as well, working in a lot of bands too, and just overstrained my voice from years and years of abuse and not knowing good vocal hygiene. And a bunch of singing lessons with a great singing tutor really opened my eyes to singing better tune, to respect myself as a vocalist, to give me confidence as a vocalist, and how to sing safely and understand any warning signs and really hear the difference of singing with much better technique. I would massively recommend anyone that's working in singing, with be that live or recording, to get yourself a great singing tutor and just take a few lessons, certainly with regards to vocal hygiene and keeping your voice in good nick. Just because you're a rock singer, because you're an indie singer, and you don't believe that you need vocal lessons because you think that's reserved for maybe classical singers, no. I urge you massively just to get some few lessons in. If anything, it will absolutely boost your confidence and it will safeguard you from any future potential issues and protect that all important instrument. Okay, vocalists and singer-songwriters, that was 5 big mistakes and how to avoid them when working in your home studio. But to say thanks for watching this video right to the end, I'm going to leave you with one more big mistake that you'll want to avoid when you're working in your home studio, and that's ignoring the room. Because if you get a great take but you end up recording too much of the room, it can cause you a lot of issues further down the line. So there's a number of things you can do to help yourself out. Yes, things can get a bit expensive when it comes to acoustic treatment in your room, or you can purchase those mic stand surrounds, which are going to help to mitigate reflections from your room. But there's some great free things you can do too, just simply by mic placement, trying the mic around the room. Think about your mic placement. Typically, if you put the mic in the middle of the room, you're going to be the furthest away from reflections, and that in itself may make a big difference to your recording. You're going to have some blankets, you're going to have some soft furnishings that you can strategically place around the room. If it's possible, you can hang these around where you're going to be doing the vocal performance to dampen out a lot of the room reflections. And whatever preparation you make to the room to make sure that those room reflections don't spoil your recording, do it well before you do your recording. By that I mean take a break from doing that preparation. Don't steam straight into your vocal all flustered and a bit out of breath. Prepare the room, get it sounding great, take a break, and then come in as the artist to lay down a great take. So there's a whole bunch of mistakes that it's well worth avoiding from your home studio, because the vocals are such a key element of your mix. It's well worth putting in a little bit of preparation time to make sure you don't get a whole bunch of issues later down in the mix process. I'm Johnny Good from Real Home Studio. Have yourself a great day.